Cold open updates for you. This is a good old-fashioned ILH updates. Did you see that Sexy Rexy himself, he was found guilty last week? Did you see that?
No. What was his sentence?
So I guess the official sentencing is happening June 17th, but check this out. He's pleading guilty to all of them, life without parole. Also, Huerman will cooperate with the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit to better understand criminal behavior.
Oh,
what do you think?
He watched Mindhunter.
Well, look, I can't help but be a little giddy. I'm down for any time they're willing to be an open book about stuff. Like, don't be taking everything to your grave. Let's pick the brains.
He wants to be in a case study. He wants to be famous.
Yo, I'm not putting that on him. I'm putting that on the FBI. I don't think he asked to be a part of the study.
Oh, what if he did, though?
Then I'd make it not part of his deal. I would be sure. But so anyway, great news. He's going to be in jail forever. Oh, also, oh my God, wait, this is also part of the cold open. The guy, remember the terrible dingus on that case that his cop car got robbed and there were dildos and pornos in there? Remember him? Remember him, Kate?
Yeah.
So the criminal that broke into his car and stole that stuff, he was in cuffs, and this cop that we hate beat him to shit in handcuffs. So just more reasons why that guy's, no longer, he actually had to go to jail for a few years. But anyway, this criminal is now saying that it's a cover-up and that it was really this guy that did it, and he's trying to contact Sexy Rexy himself to talk about it in prison.
Oh, Lord.
I was just so pleased to hear about the dildos in the cop car again. I was just pleased as punch. I will take updates on that story any day of the week.
Dildo Beach.
Attention shoppers, we've got to clean up on ILH.
What do the other wolves think?
A true crime cleanup on ILH.
Diabolical.
Starting now.
Oh, he's telling you that she's bats.
Howdy, Holtheads. Kurt Money here, alongside my co-host,
Kateline.
And we're here to talk about another Dateline. Now, what's interesting is this is not one where I said, Kate, check this out. Let's see what you think.
Nope.
The roles were reversed. What happened this time, Kateline?
Jillionaire was watching an old ep on cable, as she does. And I walked in.
Hella commercials.
Hella commercials. On Oxygen. I walk in, and then an extremely sexy man comes on the screen, and I'm like, wait a minute, who's this? And she says, oh, that's a cop. He works for the LAPD. And I said, well, I don't remember this episode. And then I looked it up, and then I went and watched it on my own time on the cock.
You found the OG app.
I found the OG app that wasn't recut for cable. And I said, Kurt, we got to cover this one. There's some twists. There's some turns.
Yeah.
There's some list items. And on top of all that, a sexy cop.
All right. Now, what is so funny about this is, Kateline, we have not discussed which cop she's talking about. I'm going to assume it's the one I'm thinking of. Now, as we know Kateline, the enigma she is, she could say absolutely not, it's not that guy. But I watched this up forgetting that what started this was Kate thought the detective was hot. And I'm watching this episode going, this detective's such a douche. Like, I was not into this cop. And now it was not because you were into him. I genuinely had forgotten that you were hot for cop in this scenario. I had completely forgotten. But then upon rewatching, I think it's just because the first thing we hear from him is that, hey, to me, the Super Bowl's like a holiday.
Super Bowl Sunday's like a holiday to me.
I think that's what made me think he was lame from the jump.
Oh, he's definitely lame, Kurt.
So you're just looking looks wise though. He can get it.
Purely looks.
Okay.
Purely looks. Really boring personality. He probably golfs.
Also, we'll say, so we're talking about, it's called Detective Stories, season 28, episode 11.
Here's Josh Mankiewicz with Detective Story.
Now, what's season 28's like 7 years ago or so. However, this is one of those Datelines that have been decades in the making, because am I wrong in saying we get many a different J-Mink in here?
Yes.
Did we not? And there's one, I'm going to hit you with it right now, just to give you a little refresh. You'll notice the file is called Youngest J-Mink. I gasped watching this episode, and I was like, I don't understand a J-Mink with no gray hair. I don't get it. Like, when was this?
So young.
You see it?
I love that it's a casual golf shirt, but then a suit jacket with a handkerchief.
Yeah. Well, he's been all about that pocket square since day one, I think. I think this was him in his So I like to call it the comf J-Mank era, where he's wearing those type of shirts. But how young does he look there, Kate?
How young do you think he is, realistically? Like late 40s?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I was going to ballpark that episode around 2008 or so. Maybe 9, maybe. Because that's when your Super Bowl guy comes into the picture. But that's definitely from ages ago. So I wonder if the dad's still alive.
Maybe.
I don't know. See, these are mysteries that never get answered because Dateline loves to be mysterious about stuff.
They won't even show us their names.
No names. And if this was on 48 Hours, we'd get a little thing at the top that says aired June 2009 or whatever. And I'd go hat tip to 48 Hours. Thanks. Not Dateline, though. And it all started, their trickery started with the very first frame of this episode. There's a beginning line where we're on Lester in the room, right? Where he's like, "On tonight's Dateline." But he says, "And on Dateline." And there's this weird-ass cut. And it's because they removed something that he said in between and on and Dateline. And you could hear it. I'll play the clip right now. It's very, very obvious.
I'm Lester Holt, and on Dateline.
And I'm wondering, what do you think he said? I think it was probably on a brand new Dateline, on an all-new Dateline. I think it was something like that. And the Peacock Lords were like, "Get that out of here. This exists in time and space where there is no specifics."
That's absolutely what it is.
Anyway, so I just want to let them know. Caught ya. Is that B-roll you busted? No, but it's definitely busted of some sort. So let's hear it. Busted! Before I get your thoughts on this app, I'm going to read you the description, which I forgot to look up. To the Goog. All right, this one's good. This one's nice and discreet, I think, but gives you an idea of where we're going. So this aired November 22nd, 2019. 7 years ago. Is that what I guessed? I might have guessed that.
I think you did say 7 years.
Sweet. Okay, so here's the description.
Good, honey.
More than 2 decades after a woman is murdered in what appears to be a burglary gone wrong. Anytime this happens, I go robbery gone wrong. That's how I fixed it. Because there's something about the word burgle, dog. It throws me off. It's a weird word.
Burgle.
Okay. A robbery gone wrong. A detective finds information, then unlocks the mystery of what actually happened.
They didn't say a sexy detective. Just want to clarify.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of clarifications I would like to make about that based on the performance of some of the other detectives in this case. But let's go ahead and let that unfold naturally. Kateline, what did you think of the J-Mank hosted detective story?
I loved it. That's why I picked it.
You picked it for this hot dude, but I think it also stands out. Is this a case that you were familiar with?
No, not at all.
Now, that episode has been available on the Cock since it launched in 2021.
Since the launch of the Cock.
Yes. I've been looking at that thumbnail going, I know that face. I can't click on this because I already know this story. Then I clicked on it and I was like, I only know this lady's face. What the hell is it from? And then there's another person that's introduced down the line and I go, I definitely remember that face. I remember that face real well. So I found out this was a 48 Hours. So I must have peeped that because these faces I definitely knew. But yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. And we're going to go on a ride emotionally, Dingus wise. So I'd say buckle up. Our story begins. We open on Christmas footage from Christmas of 1985, and J-Mank gives us this will be the last Christmas.
For the Rasmussen family of Tucson, Arizona, it would be a Christmas of firsts and lasts.
And I want to go, J-Mank, this must be in like the Dateline producer handbook, because we've seen this play before. Mm-hmm. Am I right? With this Christmas footage.
It's always the last holiday.
Yeah. It reminded me of, what was her name? Haim. I think they started that on Christmas footage as well.
Bonnie
Haim back in the day. The episode opens up and we see Christmas home video from like December 92. And it's this cute young mom with her kid opening presents. Everybody's happy. So it opens on December 85. We're seeing Sherri Rasmussen and her husband John. They're playing with their niece, this new baby. Everybody's loving it. Flash forward to Monday in February of 1986. Sister calls Sherri at work. Work says, oh, sorry, she's homesick. She calls Sherri at home, no answer.
And when Teresa's phone rang late that night, it wasn't Sherri returning her call.
Answered the phone, and Dad told me that she had been killed.
So John had come home from work and discovered Sherri had been murdered.
Yep.
He's panicking. He calls the police. It looks like she has been through, dare I say, a bit of a struggle.
You know what? Absolutely. No, I don't think we heard that, though, today. Well, let's save that. Save that for the end.
I wouldn't say that's a sign of a struggle.
But I'm not sure I heard that phrase, Kate, but she was absolutely... there's signs of a massive struggle.
She had fingernails. She had dug in, trying to defend herself.
Bloody handprints.
Blood everywhere. Multiple wounds on her. It was crazy.
There was a broken vase. So this is like movie-style fight.
This is exactly like a fight scene in a movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure they broke things over each other's heads, thrown up against, like, bookshelves. Classic.
Yeah. They also find, like, ligature things. Like, what do they call? Is that what?
Ligature marks?
Like ropes? No, not marks yet. They find literal, like, cords or ropes that the burglar had packed or something. But because there's a stack of a stereo and a VCR at the base of the steps, what does the glorious 1986 detective Lyle Mayer, what does he think happened here?
He thinks that some burglars broke into the house, started robbing the place, didn't realize that Sherri was homesick, were startled when she came into the living room, dropped the VCR and stereo, and attacked her, and then ran out.
Yeah, so it's a classic burglary gone wrong. Nailed it then. Did I kind of nail it there?
Beautiful.
Mayer was so certain it began as a burglary, he even shared his theory with John the night of the murder.
I believe your house was burglarized today.
It was just one that went wrong, and murder happened because she totally startled him. Now, you know us, here in 2026, we're going, our eyes are rolling. I mean, one, it's a Dateline app, so we know it's not going to be that. But I'm so annoyed at this Mayer guy. Mayer. I'm so irritated at him and his attitude. He is like an OG Dingus right now.
And immediately we're thinking, if the burglars killed her, then they had time to take the stereo and the VCR. Why?
Yeah.
This isn't a burglary. Like,
I was thinking that too. It's like, if it was, they would have taken those things, because they'll say there was an overturned drawer in the main room, which is so funny because that's number one sign to us that this was a BS.
It's fake.
They want you to think it's a burglary because this tearing out of drawers isn't happening. And as they point out later, it's a junk drawer in the living room.
You want to go to the bedroom and look through the drawer where all of the expensive stuff would be, not the junk drawer in the living room.
Exactly. That's what we're thinking, but no, cops say,
I believe they were trying to steal your stereo and probably some other items.
Meanwhile, her husband, John, is so distraught, and they bring him down to ask him some questions, and he's just so upset.
He is upset, but he does something here that I recently have said is my telltale sign of a murderer, and that's that he refused to talk to Sherri's family.
Yeah.
He had his dad call Sherri's family and tell him what happened. And Sherri's dad, Nels, who we're going to hear from throughout this ep, was like, can I please talk to John? John's dad said, no, you can't. He doesn't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Sherri's family says when they finally met with John at the LAPD's Van Nuys station the day after the murder, he still wasn't talking.
It's one of two things. Either he's involved in this murder somehow, which is usually what the outcome is, or two,
he's a pussy.
He's just a coward, and I don't respect him as a person.
Yeah, he's a pussy. He doesn't like confrontation. He doesn't like when things are uncomfortable. He doesn't want to do the hard stuff.
Yeah. And now, look, they were only married for 3 months. It's not like there was a kid to tie them together, but I still think this was absolutely rude AF, and it just speaks to the character of the man and that he has done, that he would not talk to Sherri's family. So they bring him downtown just to give him a talk, and we got tapes of this.
And your dingus is like, well, you know, John, I know you didn't have anything to do with this.
Fairly certain that you have absolutely nothing to do with this. Okay?
Well, how do you know that?
He is absolutely convinced. He goes, look, this was a burglary. Okay, this is what we believe. And so he's saying the murder happened between 7:30 and 10 a.m. John is like, well, she was awake and in bed when I left for work in the morning. So they're thinking it happened after he went to work. Somewhere in those next few hours, this burglary went down. And they also, J-Mink throws a fact out, I guess to maybe make these detectives look a little bit better, although it doesn't really work. But he says in 86, there were 834 murders, and it was near a record. Now, I remind you, when we went to visit the Sunset Strip, for the killers that did not live on the Sunset Strip, I think they said there were 1,200 murders in L.A. in 1980. Were there not?
Oh, probably. So it was getting better?
Yeah.
I believe we had close to 1,200 homicides within the city of Los Angeles.
To speak to your thing about how he was reacting like a very distraught husband, 16 days after the murder, they bring him in for a polygraph, which he agreed to. Mm-hmm. All right, but what happens? What are the results?
Inconclusive.
Because he was too cryy. He's too much of a little baby in there, weeping and stuff.
We also saw footage of him before that at the funeral. And he's up there on the mic talking. But it is kind of weird that they were only married 3 months and he's kind of leading the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, if he had called her parents, I wouldn't think twice about it. But
Exactly.
because he didn't even want to do that, it's like, well, how are you chosen to speak here? He had to have spoken to them eventually, right?
At least at the funeral.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you think he had pretty privilege? The cops were like, you're innocent because he was good looking.
Tall and handsome.
He was. I mean, he's not the hot one of this episode, but he was handsome.
He was good looking. I did hate it every time they showed a picture of old John.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right. I still think you have like a super weak handshake, dude, and my arms are crossed at you.
Oh, totally.
So now we get a little background on Sherri. She's 6 foot tall, very smart, skipped 2 grades, went to nursing school at 16. So this is she sounded pretty dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this was great. This was what I love. Doesn't matter what year it is, we know J-Mank is going to be bringing people to charm school. Because what happens when he goes, so it sounds like she could pretty much do anything. And they go, well, she couldn't sew. And they all have a laugh. And J-Mank goes, well, there's that. And they just cackle. J-Mank!
The ladies love J-Mank.
The ladies love J-Mank. God, was I pumped. That's when I texted you that he's on fire today. Because I was just like, oh, J-Mank. Makes me warm and fuzzy.
It did seem like there was sort of nothing she could not do. And not just do, be great at.
Yeah, well, she couldn't sew.
So there's that.
Okay, so they talk about how she met her dream guy at college, and that ends up being John, who's good looking and tall. So we're hearing more interview of this between the Dingus and John. And one, we hear John say, no trouble with exes. We hear a recording of this from the day of the murder, do we not?
Yes.
She's not having any problems with an ex-boyfriend or you with an ex-girlfriend?
No.
And what does that tell us? That there's probably trouble with some exes. Like, why leave that question
Yeah.
in there? Dateline.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to come up later when John is adamant that he did say it. It's kind of what I'm getting.
Right.
What do you think?
That's a good call because I didn't go back and watch it a second time. So I thought maybe he did say it, but he didn't.
No. He specifically said no to that. So, I mean, another interesting thing about old John Reutten, I believe, is his name. And we hear more from the cop. He goes, I'm usually a pretty good judge of character.
I'm usually a pretty good judge of character.
Now, you know what we didn't talk about? So there's this insane fight to survive that Sherri went through, the signs of the strug happening, and she's got a friggin' bite on her arm.
Yeah.
The original detectives noticed that she sustained that bite mark to her left forearm.
But this is not a major clue. The major clue to them is the VCR. Okay, so I believe it was burglarized today.
Sure.
They take a saliva sample, not for DNA, because this is pre-DNA, which they point out. Wink, wink.
Kick-ass.
But for blood sampling, so they can get like a blood type. So that's why they collect the saliva. And this was the best quote from Mayer, the detective. We're very successful at what we do. Very, very successful.
Are you now?
And that's him adding those 2 verys and stuff. That was a word-for-word quote from this dingus. So I'm kind of seething.
We're going to catch these persons, or this person, all right? You gotta have a little faith in me. We're very successful at what we do. Very, very successful.
Weeks after the murder, a woman returned home to find that 2 men were Weeks after the murder, a woman returned home to find that 2 men were robbing her house. Now, this tells Detective Dingus, OG Dingus, clearly these are our guys. These are our guys that committed the murder. Now, I've got a question for the Dateline and for that crime at the time, because neither of them answered this question. Was that woman murdered, or was she still alive?
I would have to guess that she was not murdered, because...
Exactly.
So that's not their MO. Like, burglaries happen.
A woman had returned to her apartment, surprised 2 men inside. One ran past her, the second pointed a gun at her.
They make a point in this episode to go, this is where they get a police sketch of who they think their suspects are. And we see these 2 men of color, wouldn't you know? Shocking. That are our suspects and stuff. But I just want to go, Dateline, Why didn't you mention that? Because you could tell Dateline has some snark for the detective and for John Reutten because he refused to talk to him. And God love you, J-Mink, for having those in there where it's like, he refused to talk to us. Love that.
He declined to talk with us, but he declined to speak with us.
But that to me is a big play here because unless she was murdered, this has nothing to do with it other than it's a burglary.
Mm-hmm. If she's the one who gave them the description of who the guys were, then yeah.
Great call. So she did live.
She's alive.
So why is that proof? Oh, boy, that frustrates me. Okay. They're talking about how the family doesn't believe it's a burglary. Her friend doesn't believe it's a burglary, this one that we talked to. And she says something that we've heard J-Mank say himself. Usually when people get busted robbing a place, they want to skedaddle. They want to get out of there. They've got no interest in murdering you, leaving the goods and stealing your car just to leave it somewhere else the next day with the keys in it.
Oh, wait, did we talk about the car?
No, I mean that's my fun way of bringing it up.
Not take it to some job shop.
Left with the keys in the ignition.
They find the car with the keys in it and her purse was stolen, but they found that down the road as well. So this McGuff is the name of this author that's going to come up because J-Mank talks to him throughout this ep. Did you question him not combing his hair before he was going to be on TV? Did that jump out to you? What do you think?
It was a choice.
It was a real choice. I think it didn't look messy, like on purpose messy. It was like, look, I got the suit. Okay, the suit was hard enough for me to get before it was my time.
You're asking too much of me. Like I brushed my teeth and I put on the suit.
Yeah. All right, so this is the hard line the detectives are taking. It is a burglary, okay? So don't talk to us about anything to do personally with the people because it doesn't matter. This lasts even past 91 when this Mayer guy retires, thankfully. Now, what's wild is he retires in 91. They say that he refused to talk to Dateline today. Dude's still kicking 30 years later, 30 some odd years later.
And he knows that he f***ed up 30 years later.
Yeah.
He still knows, like, oh, I botched that.
But I guess I'm jealous of his longevity. Don't you think it's wild that he has 30 years of a life post-retirement? I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, those are like female numbers.
In 1991, 5 years after Sherri's murder, Detective Mayer retired, and the case was passed on to new detectives working the homicide desk in Van Nuys.
New detectives are in. They bring the family in, tell them the same about it's a robbery. Our old boss said so, and he was the best. It's 93. Nels Rasmussen, father of Sherri, reading about this newfangled thing called DNA. He goes to the cops. He says, hey, let's do this DNA thing. We've got that saliva swab. Why not? And what's the LAPD's response?
Nah.
Unfortunately, it's not something that our department is going to accept. It's just not the way the quote-unquote business end of the department works.
Now, when I first saw this, I was already fuming because the dingus.
Very, very successful.
And I've thought to other cases where people have threatened to pay and then the state says, fine, we'll cover it. Like, we've seen that happen before.
Yep.
Now, my first reaction is, why do you care where the money comes from? But I could see this being an issue where it's like, well, then only rich people get their crimes solved because they'll pay for the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's what the belief is of why they don't do it?
Maybe, but also to cut them some slack, this is still pretty early on with DNA.
But what's the slack to cut if Nels is saying, I'll pay for it?
Just that them saying this isn't really how we do it, it's because, like, maybe DNA protocol hadn't really been established yet. It's still early on, and
Okay.
It could be that was the very first time that a private citizen had asked and said that they would pay. There's no precedent for it.
Maybe.
Or they're just dinguses and very, very bad at what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Yeah, it could just be down to laziness.
Paperwork.
So you're right. Okay, so now that case just goes back to the shelves. Listen, we'd love to help you. And yeah, that technology probably could solve this case, but nah. Send it back to the shelves. 2001, there's a new unit made at LAPD, which J-Mink calls an open, unsolved unit. It's right there, bro. It's the cold case department. Why say anything else? What do you think?
That's not J-Mink's fault. If that's what the LAPD calls it, they're the dinguses that named it that.
Cliff Shepard is now retired. He was one of the first 6 detectives in that new open, unsolved unit.
They're trying to decide which cases get to join. And we talked to one of the guys that was in charge of this, Cliff Shepard, who I suspect was in the 48 hours that I watched because he was familiar to me as well. I went back and forth on this guy. What'd you think of this guy? Did you like Cliff Shepard?
No.
Goatee man?
No.
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 No. He said some cool things, but he's there to tell us, look, we had between 6,000 and 9,000 case files. To which I would say, nice. 69. I was in. I loved it. Okay? And he says, because of the swap of saliva. Gates pleased over there.
To which I say, nice.
Nice. But he says, listen, I made this one of the 6,000 to 9,000 cases because of this saliva swab. All right. But here's the problem. They can't find the damn thing.
Wouldn't you know? Gosh dang it.
And this is the only time I'll agree with Cliff Shepard is when J Mink's like, why not? And he says incompetence.
I checked with our evidence room. They didn't have it.
How could that happen?
Incompetence.
That happened a lot?
Yes.
And I'd say that's the first and only honest thing you've said today. Like, that'll be the bottom line of this detective story is incompetence. Because they can't find it, and Cliff Shepard is sure to tell us, hey, you can look at the notes. I wrote in the margins, hey, where's this swab at? And he did. We see it dated. It's October of 2004. Where's this swab at? But he didn't do anything with it. It wasn't until this criminalist, this baller who we don't talk to, Jennifer Francis, she saw that same note and looked for the swab and found it and sent it in for results. Now, isn't this kind of funny? Like, Cliff Shepard, why did this lady have to do it? You're the one that's in charge of the unopened, not cold case department.
And where did she find it? Are you incapable of looking?
Yeah, what was so great about her? Now, they had her,
well,
what?
You know what I say.
Well, she's a woman. She's like good at her job and stuff.
Men can't find things.
That's true.
If you ask a man to look for something that's sitting out on a table, he'll look for 20 minutes and find nothing.
Jennifer Francis, a criminalist in the LAPD crime lab, saw his note and set out to find that swab herself, which she did.
I mean, this Jennifer Francis had like a professional photo shoot she went to. I think she asked, give me the Scully. What was the Scully look?
Yeah.
Yeah, loved it.
Still saying Scully weird, though.
All right, words I'm not ever going to say to Kate again. Scully, Las Vegas. Let's see, what else?
Scully, Las Vegas.
Get out of here. So we see pictures of the swab, like the bag and stuff. It's like it's worn to shit. There's a hole in it, but the swab is intact. I guess I can't help. I've got more questions about how to store DNA, because I thought you could not seal off something. It has to be in paper bags so air can get to it, or else the DNA will die. Is that different when you take a sample of it somehow?
I think if it's in a swab, you always have like a cap on it immediately. Like, I think about cheek swabs and stuff. They get capped.
Right. So why does that not need oxygen to survive as DNA, but say a skirt does, that's kept in a Ziploc bag as opposed to a paper bag?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Who knows?
All right. So the Scullies. Wait, how am I supposed to say it again? Just give me a refresh.
Scully.
Scully. Like that?
Scully.
Am I saying it right?
Why are you making that face when you say it?
Because I'm trying to say it like you.
You're trying to move your mouth all weird.
Well, I don't want to get too much of a in there. Scully. Anyway, this episode, Scully calls up Shepard. It's like, great news, got the results. This is actually an unknown female. Oh!
She called me and said, hey, this is an unknown female's DNA. That is not what I was expecting.
So, this should be the turning point of the case. Cliff Shepard's got other news for us, though, Kate. What does he say to this when he hears that there's an unknown female DNA?
I don't know.
He goes, okay, well, that must mean it was a man and a woman doing the robbing. This was a male-female partner team robbers. So we're still on the burglary trip.
Yeah.
Here.
Really dumb.
And his proof was, it was one heck of a fight. And I just want to be like, is your position here that only men can fight to the death? Is that what you're telling me, Mr. Shepard?
Because if you put two women together, they will each other up.
Yeah.
I mean, has this man never been to like a trashy bar where two drunk women go at it in the parking lot?
Yeah, it's very weird to me what he thinks here. There's got to be a man involved somehow still. Okay, dude.
And also, Sherri was a big girl.
Yeah, she's 6 foot.
If she's fighting back, she's going to cause some damage too.
Yeah, I was even, when I was trying to put when I was trying to join the headspace of a dingus, of like what would make me think this was a robber, if the female in question was petite and very tiny and would be easily shut down, I guess I would maybe see it. But if I saw Sherri coming at me, I'd want to dip out of there too, because again, she's 6 foot tall.
She's 6 foot tall. And she was in good shape and had played sports in high school, I think.
Yeah.
This was the first, like, record scratch moment.
Hit me.
The reveal that it was a woman's bite mark.
Yeah.
And that's when I texted you and said, we got to do this one.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good bomb drop. And it's just such classic dingus mentality that was not enough for them to switch gears.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, we did find out it was an unknown woman. Still pushing ahead with the robbery, though.
It's a husband and wife robbery.
Yeah.
They go around, they pose as a quaint married couple, and they get into your house and they rob you.
Yep.
And then they bite you.
Yeah. The bite was not in CODIS. And then in 2007, this Shepard guy gets pulled off the case to look for a serial killer.
A serial killer on the loose in South LA took priority.
Now you're probably thinking, what serial killer? Dateline, why don't you tell us? Don't worry, K-Mun was on it. He was off to the goo. To the goo. Because it said a serial killer that was active between 85 and 07. And all of the victims, and there was a few unknowns, were African American. And I said, I bet I know who this serial killer is. Do you know who it was, Kate?
The Grim Sleeper?
The Grim Sleeper, which we will be doing an episode on at some point, because we watched something recently that we want to talk about.
Not to sound...
It was totally Grim Sleeper.
Not to sound gross, but he's one of my favorites.
This is wrong.
So the murder book goes back on the shelves in Van Nuys until a new detective takes the case. Now this guy shows up, but first we start the show. Super Bowl 2009.
Super Bowl Sunday 2009. LAPD homicide detective Jim Nuttall spent the day like millions of other Americans.
Detective Nuttall is his name. Detective Nuttall. So I'm laughing. I'm chuckling over here. He says, listen, Super Bowl Sunday is like a holiday to me. I don't know if you've ever heard anyone ever say that, but it's like a holiday to me. So I was hella hungover when I went to work the next day. Okay.
He's very basic.
Okay.
But he's got all the right features.
Super Bowl Sunday's like a holiday to me, so we were having a good time.
And so he comes in, and this is when he finds out about this case. And so...
Did you think he looked like Luke Wilson?
No, but I see how you're implying that he's from the page in the catalog that Luke Wilson was pulled from. I can see that a little. Absolutely.
Beak nose, no upper lip.
Yeah, and he had, was a cowlick? Like, what's the...
Widow's peak?
He had that thing... No. His hair does an automatic thing up here. I think it's called a cowlick or colic.
It's maybe. Not like mine?
No, I'll send you a pic of it later. But a lot of dudes with shaved heads, like Chris O'Donnell has one, where the hair automatically does a thing here. Anyway, so he gives one more look at these murder books before it goes back to cold storage, he says. And this is when he goes, there were 4 of them. There were 4 files.
It was 4 books. 4 volumes deep.
And again, I can't give this guy credit because I'm frothing at the mouth to be told, hey, Detective Money, go back in cold storage. You see this murder book case? Get these murder books out here. Just read it and see if you find anything cool. I'm losing my damn mind if somebody asked me to do that. What do you think? Kate, wouldn't you love that?
I think you should be a cop.
No, I'd have to be a PI, I think. I could be a PI that the cops hate.
Ooh.
Be a regular Rockford. Another Rockford mention.
And your main source? Facebook.
Yeah, that's right.
Midway through Volume 1, he was hooked.
All right, Nuttall realizes, if you're going to fight someone to the death, you're going to take those stacked stereo and VCRs with you in the car that you steal.
Yep.
So he's basically having common sense going, you know what? Maybe this is the wrong way to look at it. So we're finally getting some fresh eyes on this, and we're finally turning it around. This is 09, I believe. They did have one detective admit that there were some oversights with how the case was handled. Yeah, that's true.
There were some oversights, especially in the area of interviews.
Also, the blood on the stereo had a fingerprint, but no one lifted it. How'd they know that their fingerprint was there?
Like the imprint in blood?
I guess my question is, how was it written down for history's sake?
It was dusted, maybe, and then no one actually collected it?
It wasn't dusted or anything, though. They didn't. So was it visible in that picture of the stereo? Like, how did it make it to the notes section of this piss-poor case, but nobody thought to lift the damn thing? Like, I'm curious why that survived. Is it weird or no?
Well, now I think it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know how you know about a fingerprint unless it was lifted. But anyway, it was not. Okay, so there's one of your oversights. And also, so this is when he finds out, hey, what's it with this saliva everybody's talking about? Finally, somebody goes, maybe this was the killer, and maybe it was personal.
Doy.
Yes. Oh, this was awesome, dude. Oh, so now he's looking at the case all new. All right. They've got 5 female suspects or possibilities, but J-Mank did something so J-Mankian. Okay. And it was directly what Bill Hader makes fun of in his impression.
Well, you didn't do that, did you?
Because J-Mank goes in this run of like, so you'd think that with this lone female, they'd run it through names that knew the victim. And they do this and this. And the guy keeps going, yep. And he goes, but they didn't do that. He says it, Kate. He goes, but they didn't do that. Exactly. That's exactly what he freaking did. Oh my God, it was so good.
Which is a question you ask in every homicide investigation.
Absolutely.
Who wanted that person dead?
Standard operating procedure.
They didn't do that back in '86.
Doesn't appear so, sir.
So they've got this list of 5 female suspects. At the top are like mom and sister and stuff. Like, these are going to be easy to cross off, but let's do it. Mm-hmm. They get the DNA from them. They didn't do it. Boom. Moving on. Number 3 was the small friend that we talked to. It wasn't her either. She was very happy about giving her. She said her husband, the cops came to her door and her husband was like, she's at work. And they said, oh, we'll come back. And he said, no, go to her work, please. Mm-hmm. Because they've been waiting 20 years for justice.
Yeah.
Don't let this stop you guys. Like, please go to her at her work. So they clear her.
And they do. And she's like, yes, absolutely.
And so number 4 on the list was Deborah. Now, this was a jealous nurse that we had heard about that was super jealous of Sherri because she got promoted or something, right?
Sherri was just really good at her job. And she got promoted over Deborah, and Deborah didn't like that. And there was some kind of confrontation at the hospital. And Sherri was concerned about it for a little while.
She has to get walked to her car and stuff. She was that afraid of this Deborah. Mm-hmm. So they find out Deborah lives in San Francisco. So they call the SFPD and they ask them to do a surreptitious DNA run for us. So what's that mean? Huh?
They got to go collect her DNA on the fly.
Dumpster diving. They go through her trash. Okay. And this was interesting. They say once they hit the curb, they no longer belong to the owner and stuff.
Supreme Court rules that a person's garbage is public domain the minute it hits the curb.
Shut up! So they get it. They find her DNA in a little dumpster diving action. Not her. So this leaves number 5. Now they call her number 5.
This was the second bomb drop.
Second bomb drop, absolutely. So they haven't revealed who this number 5 is yet. But they go to Nels. They go to the dad again of Sherri and be like, hey, what can you tell us about this lady that used to date John? And Nels, I'm surprised he didn't murder them on the spot, right? He's pissed.
Yep. He's like, well, I don't know. I told you about this 20 years ago. Why don't you go back and listen to that recording?
Yeah. He absolutely told them, hey, John's got a psycho ex. And there's also all these other stories we're going to hear about how Sherri was afraid for her life and stuff. Mm-hmm. She's like, so this person that we're talking about, this is Stephanie Lazarus, former girlfriend of John's in college and just after college. This is the one who had accosted Sherri at work and been like, hey, when your marriage is over, I'm going to be there to swoop him, okay? Like, that D is for me, not for you. So enjoy it while you can.
Crazy.
So it's like, oh, okay, what's this lady up to today? Bomb drop.
Guess what?
What'd she do, Kate? What does she do?
She's a cop.
At the LAPD.
A cab.
She is a friggin' cop. Unreal. This is when a hot detective says something that'll be on my list. So she's a respected police officer, and we get her history. She was hired back in the 80s, and there was a mandate to hire more female officers. And they talked to another female officer, and what we know from that Bambi case and stuff, women being cops in the 80s when they were trying to get more of them to do it was a nightmare hellscape to work in.
Yes, but I want to talk about how they made a point of saying that she had a very illustrious career and navigated to all these different departments.
Mm-hmm. Her reputation within the department was stellar.
And I don't think that's why. I think that no one liked her and they had to keep moving her around because she had issues with people.
Could be.
Because when you see her and you see her crazy eyes.
The peepers. Did you see them
She's
peepers?
got the murderer eyes.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can just tell by her demeanor that everybody hates her.
Yeah.
And they just had to keep moving her. And that's because the different departments she worked in are so different.
Yeah.
And then they put her in internal affairs.
Yeah.
And it's like, boom, they hate you.
Yeah.
In 1996, she was chosen to work at Internal Affairs.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because once we see her on cam, too, I'm like, this lady ekes me out. Not just because we suspect her of murder, but the way she's looking at me and saying stuff, I'm kind of like, I want to scoot away from you right now. Here's another sign nobody liked her, is she was in the DARE program. So she had to go around to the schools.
Thank you.
And nobody liked her. Did she get stuck with that?
She's a narc.
Yeah, and like I remember DARE classes from 5th grade. This was before I discovered the glories of getting drunk and smoking cigs and stuff. Okay, I was still a good little boy. And I thought the DARE guy was a friggin' dweeb. Even then, we all thought he was a dork.
Do you remember the DARE cop's name at your school?
No, not at all. Not that much of an imprint. Why, did you like yours? Were you hot?
No. He looked like Dr. Phil.
Okay.
But I remember his name, and he was the same DARE guy for like my entire time in public school.
Mm-hmm. What was his name?
Well, if I say it, it's,
then somebody could find out.
Somebody could find out what school district I'm talking about.
Absolutely, Kate. You're right. It's my fault. In 2006, Lazarus is moved to the art theft unit. And this was cool as hell. This had to be a part where you're like, K-Mun's going to want to talk about this.
Yep.
Because we talked to McGuff again, this author, okay, who at the beginning of the show, they said he wrote a book.
Journalist Matt McGough wrote a book about the investigation.
So already I'm going, Dateline, show the goddamn book or say the name. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. But this guy says, I interviewed her because at the time I was a writer for Law and Order. And they were going to do something about art theft. Mm-hmm. So he went there to interview her. And we hear tapes from that 2006 interview he held with her, right?
Yeah.
How cool is this?
It's cool.
How cool is it?
Stephanie was very cordial, even helpful.
We went up to this museum where they had stolen a bunch of like 5 or 6 an armed robbery takeover.
God, the dream of being tasked with writing a Law and Order about art theft and being like, well, I've got to talk to the head of the art theft department at LAPD. I mean,
and then it ends up being a murderer.
So crazy. So crazy. Don't you want to like dig and find what the ep was? Oh, this was real funny. He said Law and Order on NBC, and I wanted to go, J-Make knows what network Law and Order's on.
He's familiar. He parties with that crew.
Yeah, Law and Order has been on NBC longer than J-Make has. So, right? I mean, Law and Order's early 90s. J-Make came in late 90s. Boom.
There isn't a soul on this planet who doesn't know that Law and Order is on NBC.
That's true. Okay, so she was only known as number 5. And here's another reason to play it safe. Her husband was also a cop. He was a detective in the same damn building as your hot cop. But he worked in the building, so they really got to play this.
That's why they called her woman number 5.
That's right. That's right.
We were going to work behind closed doors. We were going to work after hours.
So he goes and talks to the family and friends again. And this is when the dad is like, great, I'll tell you this story that I told Dingus in 86. There was a woman dressed as a boy that was following Sherri, and she was scared. And what did she say about this woman dressed as a boy? Do you remember what her dad said she said about her?
No.
She goes, Dad, she had eyes that could look right through you. That's
man.
Stephanie Lazarus, dog.
Yeah.
Done and done. That's who they're talking about.
And was Stephanie dressed as a man, or was she just dressed as herself?
That might have been it. That could have been it.
Because what do you do to dress like a man? Do you put on you put on a beard?
Like a thick beard? Yeah.
Because what does that mean? A hoodie?
Yeah.
Did women not wear hoodies in 85 or 86?
It's got to be the beard thing, which is pretty damn funny.
That Sherri knew, like, that is a woman with a beard on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but she said boy, dressed as a boy. Again, I'm reminded, is she in the Murph dog twirly cap and sucking on a lolly? Like, what does a grown woman do to look like a little kid? I don't know. Okay.
But they could have arrested her right there. Oh, eyes that could see right through you? Okay.
Yeah.
That's Stephanie.
Yeah, and she shows up at Sherri's office. She shows up to work and says, Sherri, also, it's pointed out she's wearing something like revealing. She was showing off that bod that she kept so tight, according to her female cop friend, who, as a younger lady, did she not look like ScarJo? Did you see that pic, Kate?
I think that's generous, Kurt.
I'm going to send you a pic right now to see you zip it. Because you're super wrong. Here we go, coming at you.
I'm looking on my phone, because it came to my phone. No. That looks more like...
I could not disagree more. Nothing is... Boy, does it get under my skin, Kate.
Just imagine.
When you can't even budge. I mean, that lady looks like ScarJo.
No.
Is she as hot as ScarJo? No. She looks like friggin' ScarJo,
She doesn't.
bro. Why you always got to come in and say, actually, it looks like this person?
Take that
What's
picture.
Up with that?
Imagine her as a brunette. Early Law and Order. That's Mariska.
Okay. Kurt, you're wrong. Actually, if you replace the hair color, okay, then it looks like this person. I don't know.
Agree to disagree.
About a 9 on the tension scale, Rube.
Okay, here's a question. We hear John Reutten talking about Sherri, or talking about Stephanie Lazarus, because in 2009, he agrees to come in and talk to the hot cop and stuff. And he's saying stuff that makes me dislike this guy even more. Is he's going, you know, it wasn't like we were boyfriend, girlfriend. It was like there was an understanding that it wasn't all this. And I'm just rolling my friggin' eyes going, okay, so she wanted more and you didn't care and you were just sleeping with her and stuff, dude. I mean,
You were just using her.
Yeah, and J-Make even says...
Today, we'd probably call it friends with benefits.
And that is questionable.
That is questionable because that implies that both parties agree to that. But it sounds like she wanted to be his girlfriend, and she may have even thought she was.
Now, I don't blame her for thinking that because they had a professionally taken studio picture taken of them together. What the hell was that?
Yes.
That to me is enough to be boyfriend, girlfriend, John. Sorry, dude.
Uh-huh.
Your understanding's out the window when you have professionally posed photos.
Although, Kurt, you and I have a professionally posed photo together, and we never dated.
Medieval times you're talking.
I'm talking about medieval times.
Of course.
You would see that and think, well, aren't they a lovely young couple?
I don't know. That's a good call, though. That's a fun pick. He's got a corsage on. Like, was it a dance of some sort? Like
for grown-ups?
I don't know, because it looks like a Sears portrait studio thing. It's like the classic family thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she had called him saying, I love you, why don't you love me, when she found out that he was getting married and stuff. So the sisters say that John downplayed Stephanie Lazarus in 1986. And I'm going, yeah, I agree with that. He did, because we heard him say, no, there's no such thing as
a crazy ex.
There's no crazy exes.
She's not having any problems with an ex-boyfriend or you with an ex-girlfriend. No.
But then they point out that 2 years after that, he had called in and there was proof that he says, oh, I did tell him about it because they said this bite mark looks like it could be female, which seems like a shocking smart thing for them to say back then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they would have known that. But he was like, I did tell him. And I'm looking at him side-eyed, just like the family is of Sherri.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about this Hawaiian vacay. I need a few more dates.
The vacay that John and Stephanie took years and years later.
Yeah. Did they go together? He made it sound like they met there.
No.
And played tennis.
Like they both happened to be there and ran into each other at the tennis club. No. They went on that vacation together.
Stephanie Lazarus and John Reutten end up going on vacation together to Hawaii. That's got to make you sort of sit up and lean forward a little bit.
Yes, yeah.
So this kind of supports my theory of, is John involved, or is he just that damn stupid?
I think he's that stupid. I think
so.
I think he was sleeping with Stephanie all throughout the time before he was married to Sherri.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then he got engaged, and Stephanie was like, what do you mean you're engaged? We've been f***ing for years.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're crazy. She is crazy, but not in this way.
Okay, so John refused to talk Dateline, of course, because I'd have a million questions. Tell us about this vacation. Did you guys share a room? What's going on there? So now it's like, okay, does this Lazarus DNA match that saliva? This will be the test. Because they had said that there was no match in CODIS for this DNA. So they do a surreptitious DNA swap on friggin' Stephanie, don't they? They follow her to a Costco.
They do.
Wait till she throws a cup in the trash. They go grab it. Test that 48 hours later.
It's a match.
It's a match.
She's a murderer.
It's friggin' her.
And just like that, you guys solved a 23-year-old murder.
Yeah, kind of hard to believe.
So I Googled this. It's not required, and it has all to do with privacy concerns. Why is it that not every officer of the law has to give their DNA just so it can be eliminated from future cases? Why is it when you become a cop, you don't also have to give your DNA? You're a f***ing cop.
Do they give their fingerprints?
I don't know about fingerprints, but specifically DNA, it's not required anywhere.
I think we know why. Because they protect each other.
But that's frustrating. I feel like this is, if we want to reform, if we don't want to live in an ACAB world, I think step one, require DNA swabs for everybody. That way we can cancel you out of cold cases that are 20 years old because you protected yourself by being a cop.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Imagine how many cops would have to go to prison.
If they did that? I could think of one.
Stephanie.
Yeah, Stephanie Lazarus. So they've got to trick her into coming down to talk to her. This is cool because she's got a gun on her, right? Because she's a cop. So what do they do to talk to her in a safe zone? This was a good move on their part.
Well, they want to trick her by saying they have to talk to her about an art heist and they need to bring in an expert about it. So they kind of like stroke her ego to get her in there and be like, "You're our girl. We need this information that only you can give us."
I love this. And I'm giving them all the credit in the world for this. You know how I love to give cops a hard time when they say they thought they were smarter than us. But I'm going to give them credit in saying this is absolutely a good play at her ego. Like, she's not going to say no to this.
Yeah.
She's going to be like, "I'd love to come talk to you. You know, there is a Law & Order episode based on me." After this, I'm totally going to Google that writer and see what episodes he wrote. Okay. So they go, "Look,
And who played her?
Yeah. Oh, my God. I can't wait to watch it. And if it's somebody with crazy eyes and, like, short hair and tall and stuff, I'm going to be dying. That made it to the writer's room that McGuff was like, "You guys would not believe this lady that talked to me.
This lady's crazy.
You don't want to look at her in the eyes." So they sneak a camera in here too. So one, she's not allowed to bring a gun downstairs to where they are. It's like the protocol or whatever. They sneak a camera in a briefcase. And we see her sit down, and right away she gets a little wise to it because they start asking her about a boyfriend from 20 years ago. How ox was this? You could just feel her getting nervous.
Immediately. She knew. Immediately.
Yeah. And
because
this is
she goes, her response isn't like, "John? Yeah. I love John."
No.
It's, I don't know. I don't remember. What'd you say the last name was?
Yeah.
Do you know John Reutten?
John Reutten?
Reutten.
Oh, yeah, I went to school with him.
This was also when I said I'd absolutely know this case because I remember this footage. Because her look here, this low angle close up on her sitting down, I'm mortified of her when she's going, "What's going on here? Like, I mean, you think I'm guilty?"
So I mean, getting the jump. They're saying, "Okay, I fought with her, so I must have killed her." I mean, come on.
I don't know. I just
Question.
Burnt. Yeah.
They didn't want her to have a gun because they thought she would shoot them?
Yeah, they're afraid there'd be like a Reservoir Dogs moment or something.
Which means maybe she has a history within the police force of pulling the gun at inappropriate times or something. Like, I would never think that that's something that they would do as a cop.
I don't know. I guess I get it. I wouldn't have thought to do it, but when they presented it, I was like, I guess it's a good idea. So there's not 3 guns in this little room, I suppose.
I guess.
But yeah, who knows? Who knows? What if that was the case? It was like, well, we know famously she did pull that gun and beat up somebody and stuff and she bit that coworker that one time. Anyway, did she do this murder? Okay, she's scary. She's uncomfortable. She says, and she starts saying things like, one, she doesn't remember. She goes, Shelly or something. I'm not sure of her name. And eventually they get her to admit of like, yeah, I may have gone to her work 3 times to talk to her. Uh-huh. But if I did, it was to tell her to get John to lay off because he wouldn't leave me alone.
Sure,
Jan.
Sure, Jan.
Yeah, big time. Okay, lady. So she ends the interview. She's like, "I'm done with this." And this was hysterical. She walks out the door, and who's waiting there to meet her but a pair of cuffs. They slap them on, and they send her right back in there.
Right back in. She doesn't immediately ask for a lawyer, right?
No, she does eventually, but she comes in going, "This is just crazy. Will you guys just look at me for a second? Isn't this crazy?"
We don't want to look at you. You're scary.
Yeah. You frighten us. Remember when we didn't want you to have a gun down here? All right, so now the Rasmussen fam, they're pumped. This is what they've been saying from the jump. Not a burglar, right? Look at this X. This is what they've been asking for decades. Mm-hmm. And this was super friggin' funny. J-Mank is talking to Nels, the dad, this is one of the old interviews, is when he had told the cops, "Hey, you should look into this Lazarus lady," their response was, "The problem with you is you've been watching too much TV."
Jesus Christ. No, yeah. I just want to solve this case.
Yeah. God, if somebody said it to me, I'd be so... I feel so bad for parents of murdered children, and I feel even worse for parents of murdered children who it goes unsolved for decades, mm-hmm. and you've got to like deal with this kind of bullshit. Where when a new detective takes over, you got to start from scratch again and stuff. I don't know. My heart goes out to this fam.
And
not to the fam of Lyle Mayer.
And then I'm reminded of that one guy who said, hey, quick question. Are you going to f me like the last 3 cops?
Classic.
Because that's what they want to say every time.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. My God, that's a classic Keith. That was that one with the Rube Goldberg, or the mousetrap. The mousetrap thing that they kept doing. Okay. So now some people are theorizing, like Nels here, he thinks it's a cover-up, that the cops are protecting cops. And the one cop, the Shepherd guy, goes, that's ridiculous nonsense. No, no, no. And J-Mink, I think, speaks the truth here when he goes, why can't it just be sloppy police work and them being lazy and stuff?
Why can't that just be sloppy police work? Why does that have to be a cover-up? Why can't that be just sort of tunnel vision and a rush to judgment?
And I'm like, J-Mink, sing it, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, that is exactly what it is. It's not a cover-up. And Nels, I think, wrongly states, you don't give them enough credit. They're smarter than that.
No, they're not.
You got to give them more credit than that. They're more intelligent than that.
No, they're not, Nels.
They're dumb as hell.
Absolutely not. They're even lazier than you think. Like, this is 1,000% a thing of, that case has already been marked as like, if I open it again, that's one more thing I got to put back on my list of to-dos. Do you know what I mean? That's why they never want to go back and redo this stuff. It's like, no, that's already in the done column. Like, I don't think they're protecting Stephanie Lazarus.
No.
Especially in 86. Well, what do we, the male officers, anyway.
They all hated her, and they still do.
Yeah. Okay. Finally, the book plug. It's called The Lazarus Files. We see the books stacked on each other. And I'm saying, finally, Dateline.
Matt McGough, author of the book The Lazarus Files.
When Shepherd says you're out of your mind that this is a cover-up, and he says it can't be because if it was a cover-up, I would have just thrown out those murder books and not done anything with it. And my counter to that would be, Mr. Shepherd, that is what you did with it. You found out that was a female DNA bite, and you said, okay, well, it's a male and a female robber. Back to the murder book. Like, back to the shelves. You did exactly that. He's like, well, I could have thrown it out the window on the way home. Shut up. Don't get cute with me, Shepherd. Don't get cute.
Just don't include it in the cases
Throw
you
the case
submit.
away. Throw it in the trash. No, take it home with me. Throw it down the freeway.
You did what you're saying. You buried it. You found out this brand new fact, and you put it back on the shelves, dude. What do you think? You're with me.
I'm with you. I like when you get mad.
A lot of stuff in here for that. Okay, so they get a search warrant for Stephanie Lazarus' pad, and you're going, God, it's been 23 years. Surely there's nothing good in this house. Surely there's nothing awesome in here that's going to be hilarious to bring to light.
They found a picture that she had taken of John asleep and shirtless.
Undies, dude.
Undies.
Yeah, he's in skivs.
Like, that's creepy as fuck.
Now, what makes it even creepier, like, one, she was not with him. She snuck into his dorm to take this picture. This was not like a night of debauchery where it's like, look where John ended up. It's like she snuck in and took this picture, developed it, and wrote on the back, I snuck in to take this picture. So that's pretty crazy.
The craziest part is that she still has it.
Lazarus held on to this photo for more than 30 years.
And not only does she have that photo, she's got 600 pages of a journal that date back to the 80s. And wouldn't you know it, 8 months before the murder, I had to stay home sick today because I'm so distraught because John is getting married. Like, she's sitting here talking about how miserable she is 8 months before the murder.
Yeah.
So that's also pretty good stuff. This journal entry stuff, I love that people do it and kept with it. It's great proof.
I've never done it.
I was very depressed. This is very bad. My concentration was -10.
So now she goes on trial, and this is where the big bomb drops, that John admits on the stand that time when Lazarus called up and said, I'm so upset about you guys getting engaged, he went over to her house. And what happened in there?
They slept together.
They friggin' boinked. And it was the day after that she went to Sherri's office and said, I'm going to be there to pick up the pieces. So again, pre-murder, even though she has crazy eyes, I'm feeling for Stephanie because the guy did just sleep with her the night before.
Yes.
I mean, this is beyond frustrating, more stuff on John where it's like, really, dude? Maybe this is why you didn't want to talk to the fam, because you felt guilty as hell.
Because you knew that it was going to come out that you had cheated, and I think deep down he knew this was all his fault.
Yeah.
He knew it was her, and yet later convinced himself it wasn't so he could f*** her in Hawaii.
And convinced himself it wasn't so he wouldn't seem culpable in interrogation, because he says, if I had to pick, I'd say she didn't do it. I don't think she did it one bit. I don't think she's capable. It's like, duh, you want that to be the case because you don't want this murder hanging on you, which it is.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Also, why was he ever into Stephanie?
Who knows, man?
Like, he was hot. She was a psycho and looked like a psycho.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he had a type because she was tall with short brown hair.
And athletic.
Athletic. So, like, maybe that's his type or something. But, yeah, I agree.
But Sherri didn't have psychotic eyes.
No, she had very sweet eyes,
Mm-hmm.
I think. And they kept showing, remember she was like head of the nurses at 27?
Yeah.
She was really cool and stuff. I feel, R.I.P. Sherri.
Yeah, she was awesome.
By 26, she was a nursing supervisor.
She knew what she was doing.
Okay, we find out that, one, the fam didn't know about the cheating until the trial, so that's fun.
Yep.
So that's super fun for them to find that out. 23 years later, that the person who killed their sister slept with John. And it was never mentioned or anything. So they're super heated.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Sherri was so upset after the hospital visit. Lazarus told her she and John had sex.
And she was doing Goog searches 15 years later about John Reutten. I thought that was funny too.
Was that around the time of the Hawaii trip?
I bet it was after, because J-Make made it sound like it was well after they had been communicating. You know, like to prove that she was obsessed.
Yeah.
With him. But that's the thing. It's like, they say this in the trial too, like she never got her prize. Like she did not get back with John.
No.
And I'll bet it's like, not for lack of trying. I'll bet she tried. And John, clueless asshole, was like, nah, I'm cool. I'm just going to pretend I don't even know you. We see this guy at the trial too. I was mad at him.
Yeah, you know what? He wasn't hot.
Not as an old man? No, he still had all that hair though.
No, but he
that.
just looked like every old white guy.
Yeah, that's true. So she gets like 27 to life or something. Now, this is interesting. J-Mank has an issue with this. I'm not sure where I stand. She still gets department pension while she's in jail. So she gets $75K a year.
I don't understand why.
Is that...
You shouldn't continue to get a pension if you are convicted of murder.
If you're a cop, you're saying? Or anybody?
Anybody.
You think if you go to jail for murder, you don't get to collect pension?
No.
I agree with that. I feel like that's got to be the law then, because this seems like a crazy thing that sucks big time, especially because she's a cop. Where's this $75K going? She's going to be in there for her whole life.
But, like, does that mean if Jillionaire got convicted of murder, she would still get her pension? She worked for a corporation. She has a pension.
I mean, I would assume so based on...
Then why is this, like, the first time that we've heard about it on a murder show?
I don't know.
Where someone keeps getting their pension. Is it because she's a cop? Because really, you think of $75,000, that's a lot, but then that's like pretty normal for pensions.
Well, here, I know how we solve this. Convince Jillionaire to murder somebody. Not you. Specify not you or Gus or your husband.
And then we'll figure it out.
And then we'll see what happens with her pension at her trial and stuff in a few years. I think that's great. Before we go to those lists, there's one thing I forgot to say, and we absolutely got to stick it in here. This was another J-Mank swinging for the fences and connecting, is when they said that the police brought a psychic in. Do you remember what J-Mank's response was to this? He goes, you probably already knew this, but the psychic didn't find any good information. I was like, J-Mank!
Burn. He just pissed off a whole subset of people.
You did. You probably already guessed this. Oh, J-Mank.
You probably predicted this, but the psychic didn't sense anything that moved the case forward.
All right, Kate. Hit me with your list.
Kate's unnamed list. Nothing.
Really, Kate? Nothing?
Are you going to tell me there's a puzzle piece?
You're damn right I am.
Okay. You're not going to believe me.
I'm not. You're right.
But I did make note of it.
If that were true...
I'm just giving it to you.
No. What do you mean you made note of it? What are you talking about? You said there's nothing on your list.
I remember hearing it, and I just don't care anymore.
Okay, you're not allowed to have that attitude, Kate, about this or anything. That is a bummer juice to say, well, I just don't friggin' care.
Well, I don't.
Why would we do anything?
Because I miss it every time. And
you don't miss it every time. You miss it sometimes, and when you do, it's pretty funny.
But it's yours now, so whatever.
Well, it is in this case, because the rule is if you miss it, I swipe it. But please, Kate, don't be coming at me with the I just don't care stuff.
I don't care about that list item.
Because you always forget it,
I think.
Which is what makes it so funny.
I think I hear what I want to hear.
All right, so that's it, Kate. Nothing on your list. Not a thing.
Correct.
Okay. On to Kurt's Kick-Ass List.
Kick-Ass List.
Number one, the puzzle piece thing. Somebody was talking about collecting pieces. Boom, you're on my list for today.
Stephanie didn't know that they had already put all the pieces together.
She didn't know they had her DNA.
Now, I've got like 5 left. This was a big ep for me. So you must have just been talking about my list when you're talking about list items then.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I care about you, Kurt. And I want you to enjoy the episodes that I pick.
Fair enough. And I mean, I damn well did. We get right to it when they're talking about this saliva swab in 86. This was pre-DNA, mind you. Okay?
Remember, this was 1986, before DNA testing changed law enforcement.
Kurt's kick-ass last. Next. When they're looking at the crime scene photos again, and we see the overturned drawer or whatever, on top is the calendar spread from an LA Times newspaper. Calendar is like the entertainment section of the paper. On the cover, it says, horrific. And it's got an out-of-focus guy on a road looking at a car coming at him. You know what this was? This was an article about the movie The Hitcher, starring Rutger Hauer and C. Thomas Howell, that opened in February of 1986.
Wow.
Now, I wanted to get a picture of that original one. I couldn't. There's this thing called newspapers.com. It sounds not legit, but apparently there's a way I can get LA Times like microfiche style where it's like scans of the paper. And if I wasn't so damn broke, I'd be paying $8 a month to do that, because that just sounds like so much fun to dig in there, Kate. Don't you think?
Is it just the LA Times?
I'm not sure, but even if it is just the LA Times, that's still one. A lot of our crimes happen in California.
They do.
In LA specifically. I think it would still be a helpful resource. But anyway, I did not do it. But anyway, isn't that cool? And it was so funny. They were talking about how it was too violent and all this stuff. I'm just like, you little fucking cowards. You should go hang out with John Reutten. Huh? That's right. You babies. Okay, next on my list. Hot Cop says, Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. I just made that up.
Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore.
That is from a movie. Welcome to my list. In 2006, I was a writer on Law & Order on NBC. J-Mank, not the one on CBS or Fox, okay? This is Law & Order on NBC. Welcome to my list, though.
I was working as a writer for Law & Order on NBC.
Here we go. Cop tells niece, the problem with you is you've been watching too much TV. Kurt's kick-ass list.
The trouble with you is you've been watching too much TV.
That'll do it. Holtheads, a little peek behind the curtain. As I told Kate, for this fatty Dateline, I'm going to not take notes on every single scene so that it's not such a long record. How long we've been going so far? It's like $1:40.
Yeah, it's
another long one, Kate.
Hella long.
It's still freaking long. Okay. All right. Well, you picked this up, and I thought it was a straight-up banger. This had so many elements to why I feel like we originally got together to do the pod on primo Dateline apps that don't exist anymore. This is like the good stuff.
This is back in the golden era.
I feel like if it was this every Friday, we'd still be just doing Datelines, because this was, obviously, we had a ton to talk about. But anyway, next week will not be a Dateline fatty. It's going to be a shorty. And also, we had a Holthead pick a show to cover, which we're going to be doing in the next few weeks. A little tease there. You got anything else for us, Kateline?
Peep that hot cop.
Peep that hot cop. And on that note, I'm Kurt Money.
I'm Kateline.
Super Bowl Sunday's like a holiday to me.